Welcome everyone to the 350 Seattle General Meeting. Tonight's theme, we're saying bye-bye to 2020 and kind of doing a reflection of what we did this year. Like, it was a really long and tedious year, but we also accomplished a ton of amazing things. And I'm so glad to have you all here with us. I want to start off the meeting with a land acknowledgement. And first, let me introduce myself. My apologies. My name is Shimona Moreno. I use she, her pronouns. I work for 350 Seattle as the Art and Movement Building Director. I'm calling in from the ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people and of the Duwamish tribe. We begin our meetings and gatherings with an acknowledgement of whose land we're on. We do this to honor the original people who were here before us and who are still here fighting for their rights, for our animal sisters and brothers, and for the land. Now more than ever in this whirlwind of crises, we should look to Indigenous wisdom to reimagine and create a livable future for us and those who come after us. I also specifically name the Duwamish tribe because to this day, they are still fighting to be federally recognized. To learn more about how to support the Duwamish tribe, please check out this link that I'm going to put in the chat. If I can find the chat box. I'll put it in the chat later because I can't find the chat box. Where you can learn a little bit more of like the Duwamish tribe and the Duwamish fight, and also how you can pay real rent to the Duwamish tribe, because not being federally recognized, they do not get a lot of the resources that normally recognized tribes get. Let's see. Sorry, but y'all, this is not letting me, there it is, found it. Okay, so here's the Duwamish tribe link. I also want to, if you invite everyone, if you don't know whose land you're calling in from, and you want to find out more, or if you're in other places around the world, here's a link where you can find out that information. And I really encourage you to do that and to educate yourselves on the land you're on, and also to learn about the treaties. This link, you can find out about treaties and all the various tribes, some that I've never even had heard of before, and it's important to recognize them as well. Also with this acknowledgement, I want to lift up our frontline workers, especially during this time, our health workers, the unhoused and folks who are incarcerated. And we're all here together to learn and to be together and learn about what we've done this year and what we can do, what we're planning on doing next year. So thank you for that. I'm just also going to flow through a couple logistics for Zoom. Just wanted to let everyone know that this meeting is going to be recorded. If you do not wish to have your face shown, please turn off your video. Also would like to make sure that everyone please stay on mute, especially when people are speaking. Sometimes your background noise is louder than you think. And if you're having trouble following, tracking, hearing what the speakers are saying, we do have closed captioning available. If you hover at the bottom of your screen, of the Zoom screen, you can see the closed captioning icon. If you click on that and then select show subtitles, you will be able to have a little window that will be following along the speech. I will say it's about 80 to 85% accurate, and there is a slight delay. So I am also going to try very hard to speak slowly and clearly, and I invite all of the people who speak after me to also remember to speak slowly and clearly so everyone can hear and track what we're saying. And feel free to use the chat, show appreciation, comments, questions you might have. Me and the other speakers will be looking to answer any questions you might have. If you have any tech questions, feel free to direct message me, Shimona. And last we will follow up with resources, any resources that come up today, and the recording if you'd like so wish to see our beautiful faces all over again in a future date, because why not? We're a good looking group of people. I also just want for any new people to just like kind of really dig in of like, we are 350 Seattle. Our mission is to work toward climate justice by organizing people to make deep system change, resisting fossil fuels, building momentum for healthy alternatives, and fostering resilient, just, and welcome communities. I also like to name that because we are not a POC-led organization, we are not a climate justice organization. We work towards climate justice. Our org works to lift up, highlight, and stand in solidarity with climate justice organizations. The work we mostly focus on here at 350 Seattle is our resistance work, fighting new fossil fuel infrastructure, accountability work, holding the fossil fuel industry and its enablers accountable, our solutions work, which is building policies rooted in climate justice, and then our movement support, which is the backbone of our of all the work that we do, offering structure and support to all our work, such as like fundraising and operations, hosting these meetings. And if you're interested in learning more and want to like kind of level up your engagement beyond just showing up at general meetings, feel free to visit our website and to click on the Get Involved, or you can sign up to chat with me, have a one-on-one, and we can walk through volunteer opportunities. And I will send that information after the meeting, and also we'll paste it here in the chat. Oops, I'm done sharing my slide. I thought I had one more, but I don't. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. There. Now with all that out of the way, I would love to invite one of our People's Echo members, Bex, to come off mute and to kind of like ground us in this space with a song. And yeah, take it away, Bex.
Thank you, Shimona. Hi, folks. My name is Bex. I am with the People's Echo. We are part of 350 Seattle, and our work is infusing our social and climate justice movements with the power of music and song. So we have brought song to various actions, and we like to bring song to our meetings too. It's a great way to ground and settle into our bodies. Unfortunately, we can't hear one another, so we will stay on mute, but for some of you, that might be a good thing. If you don't want people to hear you sing, but you love singing, great news, you can do that. So we're gonna start off with a song that I'm gonna teach you. We're gonna do a call and response, and then I'll play a recording that we have, and it'll be just like singing with a real group of people. You won't even know the difference. I would love to ask if some brave soul would like to be my response. So I will sing a line, and then I would have the other person sing the response, and everyone else will sing on mute. But if we could have one person off mute for the response, would anyone like to be my responder?
I got you, Bex.
Awesome. Thanks, Linnea. So I'm gonna put the lyrics to this song in the chat. This is called The Morning Song. This song came through Erica Lundahl, who's one of our song catchers. And it goes like this. I believe in the good things coming.
I believe in the good things coming.
I believe in the love that lives
I believe in the love that lives
on this earth of resilient bodies.
on this earth of resilient bodies.
I am here to receive. I am here to give.
I am here to receive. I am here to give.
Awesome. Thank you, Linnea. So now I'll play a little recording if I can find where we went. Come back. Okay. And please feel free to sing along.
I believe in the good things coming. I believe in the love that lives on this earth of resilient bodies. I am here to receive. I am here to give. I believe in the good things coming. I believe in the love that lives on this earth of resilient bodies. I am here to receive. I am here to give. I believe in the good things coming. I believe in the love that lives on this earth of resilient bodies. I am here to receive. I am here to give. I believe in the good things coming. I believe in the love that lives on this earth of resilient bodies. I am here to receive. I am here to give.
Wow, you all sound great. You know, all the most successful movements have music to them. So if you are wanting more of the People's Echo music, we have a song teach-in on the 4th Wednesday of every month, and you can find the info in the 350 newsletter that goes out.
Oh, thank you so much, Bex. I feel kind of grounded in this space. And I also kind of want to just, it's so lovely to see everyone whose video is on singing along. It's so good. And it just makes me miss karaoke. One of the things 2020 screwed up. We'll have it one day. I want to like flow into the meat of this meeting, to kind of like maybe like a little more guided facilitation to have everybody just like ground themselves in their seats, take a deep breath, let it out. I want us to like spend the rest of this meeting reflecting, holding space for the challenges we've had to overcome, the challenges that we continue to endure. And I also want to make space for the rest that we all need, and and also like the time to process. I want us to kind of like remember back to January 2020. Seemed like 5 years ago that happened. I kind of want to start us off with just like, remember January 2020. Where were you? What was happening? I personally, in January 2020, I was sitting on a beach in Lombok, Indonesia. I was basking in the sun while simultaneously cursing its awesome power, like beaming down on me. I think I was nearing the end of January just being like, I'm ready to go home. The sun is way too intense, but the water is awesome and life is so slow here. But also just like, I feel so rejuvenated for the new year that's coming. This is so great. This was one of the things that I wanted for 2020, was to travel more and experience new things. And then came home, and well, we all know things just went to shit after that. Pardon my language. I'm sorry. Oh, I see you, Hannah. I apologize for my cursing. I also would love to hear like, hey, Selectiona, what was happening for you in January 2020?
Beginning of the year, I was driving up the coast from California back up to Seattle, and yeah, looking at some pretty incredible cliffs and the ocean, and also kind of grounding and resting in anticipation of the year.
Oh, my gosh. What about you, Anna?
Yeah, I had one of the best New Year's Eves of my life. Like my husband and my two favorite cousins and I were kind of quarantined actually on a beach in Texas in Matagorda. We just rented a cabin, and my cousin and husband conspired to get some fireworks, and I was really mad about it because, you know, the environment. But we went to the beach and popped them off at midnight, and it was so fun. And like, I just felt like a little kid, and I was like, yeah, 2020 is going to be our year. And actually, I talked to my cousin recently, and she was like, we're never going back to Matagorda. We did this. So yeah, it was great. Did not think that it was going to turn out this way.
Yeah, I think a lot of us felt the same way. But a lot of amazing things did happen this year. We kind of met the challenge head on, especially in the 350 Seattle community. So I'd like to invite Selectiona and Anna. It wasn't random that I just picked them. To kind of like flow through a timeline of our year, and just like kind of work our way up to now of where we are now. So yeah, take it away, Selectiona and Anna.
Awesome. Thanks, Shimona. Yeah, to start, would invite folks to share where you were in January 2020, if you can remember that far back in the chat. Anna and I are going to walk through some of the highlights from the past year within the 350 Seattle community. But just want to say we're not going to be able to get to everything. So yeah, we really invite you to share any memories or highlights that you have in the chat along the way. And yeah, we want this to be kind of a collective experience of looking back on the year and what we were able to do together. And if you're newer to 350 Seattle, welcome. We hope this inspires you to maybe get more involved in next year. So I think, we have had a heck of a year. We've got some photos we wanted to share from it. I think Shimona is gonna kick us off, but put the slides up so we can look at those. But yeah, in the meantime, please share what you were doing in January 2020 or how you were feeling. I see Hallie was feeling anxious about the election. Yeah, I share that. back in January. I think it was, yeah, kind of early mid-January. This photos here are from an action that we did at Chase branches across Seattle, starting up in Fremont, and then led in song by the People's Echo and drumming by the Protectors of the Salish Sea. We made our way downtown and showed up at the Chase branch in Westlake, and it's also the building of the Canadian Embassy, and shut down the embassy for the day in solidarity with Wet'suwet'en land defenders who are fighting the massive fracked coastal gas link pipeline up in really northern British Columbia. It's like 16 hours north of here. And so we were able to show up, you know, in support of their struggle and call out Chase, who's one of the biggest bankers of that pipeline, as well as the Canadian government, you know, who was pushing it through without the consent of the Wet'suwet'en people. See, Catherine was there for the first Chase action. Yeah, People's Echo crushed it on the singing. We don't have photos of this, but the civic action team was super busy generating calls and emails to legislators. And I think over the 2-month legislative session, the team sent more than 6,000 unique phone calls and emails to legislators to get some really important bills passed on climate pollution limits and clean car standards. So shout out to all the folks leading that work. Yes, woohoo, Kat. I see David and Catherine there in the chat. We're some of the fearless leaders working with 350 groups and other groups across the state. And then the other thing is we teamed up with folks across the city and launched the Tax Amazon campaign, calling for a tax on Seattle's biggest businesses to fund affordable housing and the Green New Deal. I'll pass it over to Anna for February.
Yeah, I just had this memory of at the end of that action, we were standing outside Chase chanting, "Chase will be back, we'll be back." And the next month we came back in a pretty big way. So we, I think it was February 19th, if you want to go to the next slide, we shut down 2nd Avenue outside of Chase's Pacific Northwest headquarters. We had art, these gorgeous parachutes, huge banners, you know, you can see what's going on here, the tarpies. We also had a 13-foot tall facade of a Chase bank with oil spewing out of it. I mean, it was coffee, but it looked, you know, the visual was pretty great. And the next day, so usually we'd, you know, do an action like that and wait a couple months to come back, but we came back the next day to a different bank that was also a Chase. And we occupied that with song, again, you know, led by People's Echo both of those days, and supported and also co-led by Indigenous organizers, particularly on the 19th with the Protectors of the Salish Sea. And so, yeah, on the 20th, we had a grief ceremony in the Chase Bank, and I found that really powerful, that we were sort of in the belly of the beast, having this really powerful grief ceremony for the climate, for the crisis that Chase is directly culpable in causing. And then 28 of us refused to leave and were arrested. And we actually got onto Democracy Now! For that. So that was kind of cool. And it's just wild to me to think that there were so many people in, you know, these tiny jail cells together, not knowing that this was our last opportunity to do something like that for goodness knows how long. So it just makes me really feel like, yeah, you know, seize the moment, do those things that matter to you, because you never know when you're not going to have that chance again. And so a week after that action, Chase actually released their first policies on climate, but they were totally inadequate, but it was kind of a response to what we'd done. Yeah. And then just like on another note, this month, the Solidarity team restructured into nodes and started new groups. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And I'm seeing, yeah, a lot of people involved in those actions. If you were involved or have memories of that, please do put it into the chat, because I know I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces there who I know we were all part of that. Yeah. And what happened in March? Anybody remember? Kind of an interesting month.
Yeah, I think March was when things all started to change. So the photo that we have here is from the first online general meeting. So yeah, March 4th. So really early March, instead of gathering up in the U district and eating a meal together and hanging out. Potluck was always my favorite part of the general meetings. We came together online and we celebrated some of the work that we did around Chase. Teamed up with Mazaska Talks to learn about the financial institutions backing the climate crisis. And yeah, it was really interesting. I know, thinking about where we were making the decision about, should we have the meeting in person, should we not? And we decided, that we should just be cautious here and, protect our elders in the community and, just move it online, for the next few weeks, the next few months. Had no idea that we wouldn't be able to have that potluck for so long. But feel very grateful that we're able to gather in this way and we see each other's faces. We didn't really remember what else happened in March. I think just, starting to pivot and adjust and wrap our heads around kind of the new reality. And yeah, the harms of COVID. But if other folks had, we're going to do a Chase action that we canceled. I remember that. And I think there's a training series with the Mangrove Collective that, was canceled in person also because of the risks of COVID. So yeah, actually for me, I think deciding whether or not to do this general meeting in person or online was the first moment that was like, I was grappling with COVID and like recognizing how big of a thing that was. So yeah, if others have experiences of that or events that were canceled, feel free to share those in the chat. I think we can move on to April here.
Yeah, I think my first big one was the Mangrove Collective thing that you mentioned. Like deciding that was really hard. And I was in public health school at the time, so I got to like use my public health messaging stuff for that, which was like cool, but not cool. So in April, I think BJ mentioned that we actually kind of started this in March, but it took off a little bit more in April. We realized that what help looked like would be different with COVID, not being able to go out in person, having so many more people who, couldn't go to the grocery store because they were immunocompromised or they'd lost their jobs, and, really rallying to create these mutual aid groups, which many mutual aid groups have shown up in Seattle, and it's been phenomenal. I think that's one of the best things to come out of 2020. But what we did was to sort of organize in neighborhood pods. So get neighbors talking to each other using flyers or whatever means of communication they had, and seeing what people needed, what people had, and how they could support each other. And then all of the neighborhoods had a captain who was in touch with each other. So a lot of those pods are still very much alive and active. And that was a pretty cool pivot, I thought, to what we could do in the moment in response to COVID. And we wanted to ask just how mutual aid shows up in your life these days. And if you're part of a pod through 350 Seattle or through something else. Let's see. Also in April, we started building support for the Tax Amazon vision of a big business tax that would fund affordable housing. And we got thousands of calls and emails to city leaders, even in the throes of the pandemic. So that was a pretty productive month. Oh, that's great, Julia, that your pod's still going and you've got more connection with your neighbors. Yeah. And then May happened.
Well, thanks, Anna. Yeah, I'll say I've got a pod still going where I am in the Central District, and stay tuned. We're going to be doing some supply collection this month and really, coordinate with other mutual aid efforts that are doing direct outreach to our unhoused neighbors to make sure that they have the warm things that they need through this winter. So following up on the kind of big business vision, 350 Seattle really showed up in a big way to gather signatures to try and get this tax on the ballot in the city. And in the midst of COVID, folks got creative with masks on and hand sanitizer out to collect signatures and spread the word about the campaign. Here you can see some photos of folks talking about why this tax is important and what we can fund if we get big corporations to pay their fair share, like a Green New Deal and COVID relief and affordable housing. We'll let you know what happens with that soon. And then, yeah, at the end of May, the world was, rocked yet again. The devastating murder of George Floyd, which led to uprisings, led by Black youth across the city and across the country, and a real reckoning with the horrors of police brutality, violence of systemic racism. And yeah, we saw kind of community pivoting yet again. So I'll pass it over to Anna to share more about what happened in June.
Yeah, June was a pretty big month. We decided as an organization, Shimona, you might want to click to the next slide. So we decided to pivot most of our efforts to focusing on BLM because we recognize that climate justice is racial justice and that this was really the most important thing that we could do in standing in solidarity with our communities. So we got information out about marches and ways to support. We developed a thread for like solidarity, showing up at actions, making sure that nobody was getting there alone. And I know I found it really like just charging to be out there all of a sudden with thousands of people after having not seen almost anyone for just about 3 months. I'd love to hear how that was for other people. Like if you showed up in the streets, just what that, was it overwhelming? Was it empowering? I know I felt like I got high, like I was just buzzing. And, to be out there for like with so much meaning and purpose it was really beautiful. It also really tragic that we were out there at all. It was such a mix of emotions. And from a 350 standpoint, we definitely focused on the demands of defunding SPD and investing in resilient communities, the demands that were put forth by BLM and BIPOC organizers. The demands haven't fully been met, but a lot of the relationships and the ideas that came out of this set the stage for the solidarity budget, which we'll talk about in a couple of months. And at the same time, we also kept on pressure for a big business tax to fund affordable housing and Seattle's Green New Deal. And this led to Councilmember Mosqueda proposing the Jumpstart Seattle measure, and more on that in July. So it looks like people were, scared, but exhilarated, slightly overwhelmed, full of love, kind of scared again. Empowering. Yeah, just so much camaraderie and energy. Yeah, an extremely unique time in our history. Yeah. All right, and then that kind of moved us into July too.
Yeah, in July, we focused on continuing to educate ourselves and our community to be able to show up in a good way in this moment of national uprising. So learning about prison abolition as a group and training ourselves and community on how to show up safely to a protest. And, I love this photo on the right. We continued with, other critical work that we've been doing for years. So this is Puget Sound Energy released a coloring book for kids that glorified natural gas. So 350 Seattle made our own coloring book in response. I see Stacy on here. And Solidarity Team really showed up in the fight against PSC's massive fracked gas facility down in Tacoma, and continued to work with community with affordable housing advocates and labor partners to pass the Jumpstart Seattle measure. So cheers to that. And that raises $210 million per year from big businesses for affordable housing and Green New Deal solutions like transitioning homes off fossil fuels. The other thing I wanted to note is that the 350 Seattle staff goes on payroll, gets healthcare and other benefits. So yes, to paying the folks that support this amazing community a living wage and getting those benefits and healthcare that we all deserve. We did it. And over to you for August.
Yeah, so we don't really remember what happened in August. So if you do, please write it in the chat. I know that the Understory, the blog was started, it was launched, which is so awesome. And if you haven't checked it out yet, I would definitely look on the website. Catherine, I think the smoke was actually more late September, but I think there were some wildfires going on in like California at that time. And yeah, so I think our work with like the workshops and stuff just continued. So it was kind of, yeah, like a non-month, I don't know. So we'll just go right to September. Oh yeah, tons of pledge trainings. You're right, Val.
Yeah, keep it rolling in for August if you have memories. And yeah, September really, you started out with the smoke at the fires in the corner there and saw the realities of climate change and the eerily orange skies and that air that made us sick. And the ways in which climate change here and now is exacerbating existing economic and racial injustices, and serves as a powerful reminder of the stakes of this work and the need to be really fighting for transformational solutions. So kept at it in September. Shimona and others, Erin, organized an amazing climate justice learning series. I went to some amazing talks and workshops on prison abolition and housing justice. Holler in the chat if you went to any of those too. And the mutual aid pods and mobility justice crew teamed up to organize a bike collection and got more than 250 bikes from across the Seattle area that were donated to Bike Works to be fixed up and distributed to communities in need of bikes across Southeast Seattle.
And Julia mentioned that Mayor Jenny wouldn't pass the COVID assistance in August, and that was the veto. And I think that kind of ties us into one of the big focuses in October, which was the solidarity budget, because the mayor kept kind of pulling divide and conquer tactics that didn't work because organizers organize and talk to each other. So we, there was just a ton of cross-organizational coalition organizing, and really quickly, the relationships that started this summer or were built up over the years were built upon to create this solidarity budget that went really swiftly. Shimona, there you go. And called for no new cops and all of these other wonderful things in their place. For defunding the police, I think it ended up being about 18%, and investing in communities. So that was really powerful, a really big win. And I think something that was heavily influenced by just, being out in the streets and forming relationships earlier in the summer. And then also in October, Chase finally announced that it intends to align its business with the Paris Agreement. So just kind of going back to all of that stuff that we were doing in January, February, and for the past 4 years. So the bank's committed to releasing its climate targets by next spring, but we're going to keep pressure on them because, let's face it, it's probably not going to be enough. And then also in October, on Halloween, there was a solidarity event with Amazon workers across the nation because they have about 600,000 employees that were not given the day off to vote. So many corporations already make this a guarantee, and this was pretty much an outrage. So we did this across 5 sites in Seattle. Some of us dressed up, we picketed and blocked trucks. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that this ended up being, I don't think that our demands were met, but it was a really successful show in just, showing up for economic justice and workers' rights, which is also intertwined with climate change. Yeah, they weren't met, but it was definitely an important thing to do nonetheless.
Maybe next year. I think at this time, October and then into November, we're all, or many of us are also steeped in like the election, right? Folks were getting out the vote in states across the country. And also a lot of us were thinking about what to do if Donald Trump refused to leave office and mounted a coup. So we teamed up with other groups across the city. And yeah, we're one of the founding members of a coalition that came together to discuss strategic targets and how to really turn out people power in the case of a coup. Thankfully, we ended up not needing to activate the full force of people power, but we did organize some really powerful actions with partners that centered demands from Black organizers that have been in the streets for months, and also national demands around Trump. And did a ton of trainings also to skill people up to be able to show up if needed, and some cool highway bannering to get the message out there that every vote needed to count. And then the last thing that I've got here was that Seattle passed the 2021 budget last week, I think, which included many of the solidarity budget demands, not all of them, but there were some serious wins. And it was because of collective organizing that brought together, more than 200 community groups representing racial justice coalitions, climate and environmental justice orgs, housing advocates, labor unions, and so much more. And we'll hear in a little bit about what's coming next in the fight for the solidarity budget and the Green New Deal. And that's all we've got for the timeline today. Please add in the things that we've missed, because I know there are a ton in the chat. I think I'm gonna pass it back to Shimona for some breakouts.
Yeah. I just want to note the time, everybody, and it was a bit of a sneaky, this meeting will probably go about 15 minutes extra or past the hour. I understand if you need to leave or duck out at the hour, but I hope you stay. We definitely want to make space for some breakouts next, because we didn't even cover all of the things that we did this year at 350 Seattle, and even just in partnership and in solidarity. And now December, we really want to talk about what are we going to do for rest, for processing, for finding ways to renew ourselves for the next year, for the things that are coming. 2020 was a wild year, and who knows what 2021 is going to look like. There's still a lot of things that are up in the air. So I'd love to give everyone the chance to kind of talk in small groups, to kind of share some of the things that maybe you've are been doing to kind of prepare yourselves for the new year. What are you doing for rest, relaxation, and if you do not feel comfortable being in the breakout, feel free to stay behind. I think we'll spend about 6-7 minutes in the breakouts just sharing and making sure everyone has a chance to kind of talk to each other. So I'm going to create the breakout rooms, and I will send you all on your way with the question of just what are you doing for rest? You'll see a little window pop up, and you can join your breakout room. Here they all coming back to us. We're back. We're here, December 2020. Oh, thank you so much, y'all, for sticking with this. I can tell we lost oh, there's still some people. Okay, we lost a few people. We still have a few more things that we want to share with people. So if you can stick around for a few, an extra 10 minutes, we really appreciate it. just want to like highlight a couple things that we're looking forward to in the new year. So if I can pass it on to Selekshna and Anna to share with us.
Yeah, so one of the things that we're pretty excited about is building on the work that we started with the Solidarity budget and just making 2021 overall a year of stronger partnerships and more strategic planning across different organizations, because we're definitely stronger together.
Yeah, and one of those partnerships is with the 350 Washington network across the state. Be going into this legislative session with a slate of awesome policy priorities, and we'll be fighting for climate justice at the state level.
Yeah, and then there's in March, there's going to be a big hearing on the Tacoma LNG plant that's being built on stolen Puyallup land. And we've been fighting this for a really long time. So our resistance team is doing a lot building up to this hearing. And if you're interested in plugging in on that and fighting this last little bit, please let me know. I'll put my email in the chat.
The aviation team will be gearing up to resist a SeaTac airport expansion. Stop the Money pipeline team will be continuing to push Chase and insurance companies like Liberty Mutual to stop backing fossil fuels.
Yeah. Let's see, what else are we doing? We're going to be, doing just more strategic planning in general so that we can be stronger, bolder, and center equity more deeply in all of our work.
Yeah. And, you know, you might have seen this coming. In order to do all of that work, we need to fundraise for money. And this is the time of year when a lot of organizations are doing their fundraising, their year-end fundraising, and we still have a ways to go to kind of meet the needs for next year. So we need to raise up to a little over $100,000 by the end of the year. Oh my gosh, can we do it? Will we do it? I believe in us. We will do it. And if you want to be one of the few people that helps us do it, here's the link to donate. And also, feel free to share that link if you yourself can't do anything now. Sharing is caring, and you might have someone that has like, hey, I have some extra dollars that I can, send 350 Seattle's way because I really want to support the really awesome work that we're going to be doing for 2021. Please share that link out. You can give one-time gifts. You can sign up to be a monthly donor, or you can sign up to make a donation in honor of someone in memoriam. We really strive to be community powered here at 350 Seattle. We don't want, Chase's money or Amazon's money. Like, we don't want their money. So we want to be powered by our community, by the people who are living their lives and pushing this work forward. So if you could help us out, we would really, really, really appreciate it. I think that's it for tonight, and I appreciate all of you for sticking us through. That extra, 2 minutes for some people just couldn't cut it. So we're all gonna sing one more song together. If Bex would love to come back off mute.
I'd like to share something if there's a moment.
Oh, I want to be respectful of people's time, and I want to
Yes.
if you could put it in the chat
Okay.
and private message me, and I can share it out in an email that goes out to everybody afterwards.
Okay, great. So I'll put the information in chat. It's about a symposium that's coming up on Saturday. I think is really important.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me speak.
So, thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Shimona. Well, I wanted to close out with another great little song. I'm going to put the lyrics in the chat. This song is called We Got This, because we got this. We'll do This song also came through Erica Lundahl of the People's Echo. And let's see, do we have another brave soul that would like to be my responder?
I can.
Awesome, thanks, Hannah. All right, so this song goes like this. I am in the right place.
I am in the right place.
I am in the right time.
I am in the right time.
I am with the right you, babe.
I am with the right you, babe.
We got this.
We got this.
And that's the song, and it repeats. All right, let's make a little music with it. Sing along, feel it in your bones. Feel that resonance deep in your chest and know that we got this.
I am in the right place. I am in the right time. I am with the right you, babe. We got this. I am in the right place. I am in the right time. I am with the right you, babe. We got this. We got this. I am in the right place. I am in the right time. I am with the right you, babe. We got this.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And thank you, Barbara. I will copy this and I will send it out into the email. And we'll also send out some other links for you all and the recording if you so choose to watch it again. I look forward to seeing you all in the new year. Hopefully we'll be rested and ready to go. And 2021, that's going to be our year, y'all. Have a good rest of your night. Thank you so much for being here. Feel free to come off mute and say goodbye and thank you.
Bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye, everybody.
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 Bye.
Everybody.
Happy early New Year.